Welcome to this Football Manager 2016 experiment series featuring the home nations. Now, I know there's going to be loads of you immediately commenting saying the Republic of Ireland are not a home nation. Yes, I know technically they are not, although in rugby union I do believe they are classified as a home nation because Northern Ireland and the Republic play together, but that's a bit irrelevant to this anyway. So this experiment is featuring England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Loads of you have requested this in the past, over the last year I guess, since I started doing these Can Country X Win the World Cup experiments, and most of you that did suggest this suggested to include the Republic of Ireland, which is why they are in this. Now, for those of you that have not watched one of these experiments before, I will give a few details in a minute. I've done South Korea versus North Korea, China versus India, I've done the Cold War experiment, and most recently I've done the Nordic experiment featuring all of the Nordic nations, which went down very well, so thank you for all the support on that. If you're looking forward to this one, please smash the like button, that would be much appreciated. So for the benefit of those who have not watched one of these experiments before, basically what I do is I boost all of the nations that are included in the experiment, youth ratings, club facilities, finances of clubs, etc. I'll just show you a bit more in detail in a second. However, I must note I have not done anything to England. The point of this experiment is basically to see if Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland can win more things than England. We all know, or those of you that have played Football Manager over the years, know that England are overpowered on Football Manager. I say that as an Englishman, they are. Because if you look at it, since 1966, we've won like 6 knockout games in all competitions, which is just so bad. We are not a tournament side. Yet, on Football Manager, ever since it was first made, England always win World Cups, always win European Championships. They even win it under Roy Hodgson on the game. So they are overpowered. They really are. There's no question about it. And if you holiday into the future or play into the future, you'll notice England win multiple World Cups, win multiple European Championships. They produce incredible players that win Ballon d'Ors and sign for huge amounts of money for the best clubs in the world. Rant over. So what I have done is I've left England the same, and we're going to see if the likes of Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland can overtake England and win more competitions, because I have boosted them. Using the pre-game editor, changed this, generated players. So I'm using the in-game editor during this experiment so we can have a look at things in a bit more detail, and I can show you this. So I've boosted or maxed out the youth rating to 200. That's the maximum it can be. So I've done that for all of the 4 home nations apart from England. They already have a high youth rating. I've also changed all of these as well to good, so it should produce very good players personality wise as well. Now, for every single top division league in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, I have boosted the teams within that top division. So sorry Rangers fans, I've not improved your team, but in all likelihood you will get promoted anyway. So for example, let's look at Aberdeen. What I have done is I have improved the facilities. I have improved them to 20. I've already holidayed one season, and as you can see, they've actually already gone down to 19 for Aberdeen, the training facilities and youth facilities. But at the start of the game, they were at 20, and that is the same for every single top division club in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. I've also improved the finances, so I've boosted the bank balance of each club. That's once again also gone down, but I basically gave them lots of money to see if they can invest in these youth facilities and create amazing players. And with the help of the nation generated players rating being 200, we should see some incredible players coming through the ranks of all these clubs. So I've done the same for Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland and Wales as well. So in this part 1, I'm going to holiday a number of years to see how these nations get on in the next 15 or so years. There's going to be a few parts to this. The aim is to once again holiday to 2102, which I think will be the end of a World Cup or Euros at that point. I think it's the end of the 2102 World Cup. So we're going to holiday about 90 years, and we're going to see how these nations do, how many World Cups they win, how many European Championships they win. There's also the European Nations League, which starts very soon into the game. How many World Player of the Years they win, if their clubs, the clubs in these nations can do better. Can, for example, the Welsh Premier League, can the reputation improve? Because they're obviously way down the list. So we'll see if those can improve, thanks to the players playing for certain clubs and the nation improving as a whole. They probably won't improve massively because most of the Welsh, most of the players in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and Ireland, if they are any good, they will probably move to Premier League teams realistically. So we'll see if there is any impact on these leagues at some point. And I am going to create an Excel spreadsheet for part 2. I did do this for the Nordic experiment as well, but we're going to track the progress of all these nations, and they're going to accumulate points for depending on how well they do in World Cups, how many World Cups they win, how many runners-up places they finish as well, and they're going to gather a number of points, and at the end we will have an overall winner. England will be included in that as well. They could win this because they're so overpowered on FM anyway. They could win this, and obviously they have the strongest league as well, the Premier League, so they have that advantage anyway. So you're probably wondering how Euro 2016 went on this game, because I've already holidayed to the end of that. You can see Belgium beat Spain on penalties in the final. So Belgium, who got to the quarterfinals in real life and lost to Wales, went out. England got to the semi-final. They lost against Belgium, but how unrealistic is that? I don't know. Let's see how the other home nations did. They may not have qualified, because remember the start of the game is before the end of qualifying. So if we just go down the list, Scotland actually qualified, funnily enough, but they didn't. Well, they got out their group, as you can see there. And Wales also qualified and finished third in their group. Ireland finished bottom of their group, but I don't think Northern Ireland qualified there. And then in the second round we saw Wales lose to Spain in extra time, and Scotland get thrashed by Croatia. So that's how the first Euros went. I'm now going to holiday to the end of the 2018 World Cup, and we'll just have a quick look at that. So Belgium actually won the 2018 World Cup as well, and they beat England in the final. So England have already managed to obtain a runners-up award at the World Cup. See what I mean about them being so overpowered? They always do so well, and I don't know what basis they have in real life. When have we done well? We've reached a couple semi-finals in the last 40 years, but it wasn't exactly hard to reach the semi-finals of those competitions if you look at them in detail. Like in the Euros, you only had to get through your group, and then you only had to win the quarter-final, then you're in the semi-final. I just think we're overpowered, and I'm sure lots of you would agree. But this is the World Cup of 2018. You can see England won their group comfortably with 9 points. And are there any others in there? Go down. I don't think there are. I don't think any of the other home nations... Oh, Republic of Ireland, there we go. They finished second in their group. And in the second round, they actually beat Germany 3-2 to go through. Shane Long with a couple of goals. Goetze with a couple of goals for Germany. But, oh wow, what a win for Ireland. They're through to the quarter-final, where they went out against South Korea 4-2, unfortunately. That's a team they could have beat as well. So they've done really well in their first World Cup. In this series, I've got Chris Hughton at the age of 60 in charge, 25th in the world rankings, as you can see there. We'll just have a quick look at the world rankings, then I'll skip ahead to the 2020 Euros. England, number 1 in the world, despite losing the World Cup final against Belgium. Belgium have won their second Euros in a row and their third major championship in a row. They are completely dominant on this. Have they actually got a decent manager in charge? Maybe that's why. They've still got Wilmots. I mean, that's not realistic, is it? If they get a good manager in, then they could actually dominate, but I don't think with Mark Wilmots they're going to dominate anytime soon. They beat Greece in the final. He got to another final, surprisingly. Let's just have a look at the group stages, though. You can see Scotland finished bottom of their group. At least they qualified. Ireland qualified from their group in second place, just behind Germany. And England, top of their group. Wales finished bottom. It's a little bit disappointing for Wales. No Northern Ireland again, I don't think. You can see here, England won in their second round, beating Ukraine 4-1. Ireland lost in their second round against France in extra time. And then in the quarter-final, we saw England lose against Belgium again. Seems to be a bit of a rivalry there. So I'm going to be doing a point system on Excel. I haven't created the spreadsheet yet. I will for part 2. If you've got any suggestions for how many points you deserve for a win, so if you win the World Cup, maybe they deserve 10 points for that. Win the Euros, maybe 8 points, and if your runners up, 5 points, something like that. If you've got any suggestions, let me know. I'll create something. In the Nordic experiment, we basically just counted how many times they won the World Cup, how many times they reached the semi-finals and quarter-finals, and how many Ballon d'Ors that nation won. that sort of thing. But I'm thinking of doing a point system this time, so we can have an overall winner, rather than just counting up and letting you guys decide who you think was the best nation. We can add a bit of rivalry in there, I guess. Don't know if that's wise or not. So the 2022 World Cup was actually won by Italy, beating Brazil in the final. So I think that's the 5th ever World Cup for Italy. So they're joint with Brazil now, I think. None of the home nations featuring in the top 3 teams. I'm going to have a look at the nations in a bit more detail, see if they've managed to produce any decent players in a minute. And at the end of the episode, we'll have a look at Champions Leagues and that sort of thing as well. This is the group stage of the 2022 World Cup. If we just go down, Wales qualified from their group top spot, but they were the only home nation to qualify. There's no England. Wow, that is a shock. Wales beat USA in the second round as well in extra time. So they went storming into the quarter-final, where they unfortunately lost against a strong Chile team. Let's have a look at Wales, and they're 5th in the world rankings. They've suddenly shot up, doing really well under René Meulensteen. Great stuff from them. Top players, Ramsey, Davies, Tilbury. I wonder what's happened to Gareth Bale. Just have a quick look at the style. He's retired now at the age of 33. So it must have been quite recent, last year in fact. He ended up moving to Man City. Hardly played any games before moving to Lille. Bit random, but there we go. Earned 90 caps and 32 goals for Wales. Their star man is still Ramsey at the age of 32. He's got 109 caps and 30 goals, and Ben Davies, who plays for Crystal Palace, has 1 goal in 94 caps at the age of 30. Let's just have a look. I've included the current ability and potential ability in this overview, so you can have a look to see the star men in this team. You can see Ramsey is the star man. They've got a decent regen. Darren Tilbury, he's 23 years old, has pretty good current ability, 23 goals in 40 games as well. However, look at this, they've got a guy with 199 potential, which is the highest, well, one off the highest possible. However, he's 24 and he's only reached 158 current ability, so he's unlikely to really get past that. So that's a shame. He had the potential to be the best ever centre-back basically, but hasn't managed to live up to that. And he plays for Spurs now. Moved for 21.5 million from Aston Villa, who initially bought him for 1.1k. So it's good to see a Welsh team in the Welsh Premier Division, Bala. They actually produced a very good player. Unfortunately, maybe Aston Villa let him down there and didn't coach him well enough. I don't know. But if we just have a look at Bala Town and see the potential in, like, they might have he's a decent player, Ben Morris, 150 potential, but he's 24 as well, so unlikely to go on and do amazing things. Doesn't really seem to be any star men in this team, but they've been winning the Welsh Premier League most years. TNS have also done very well. Gone are the days when Barry Town used to be dominant. I remember on Championship Manager 9900, Barry Town used to be pretty good from what I remember. So we just have a quick look at Scotland. Malky Mackay is in charge. They're 24th in the world. Let's see if they've got any star men in their team. Their best player is Graham Mitchell, 171 current ability. Arguably, they've got better players than Wales. This guy's really good right back. George Love has potential, 196. He's 22, can still improve, 164 current ability. Plays for Manchester United. Looks like a decent player, very good physical mentals. Probably needs to improve technically. You know, he's solid but not amazing. Moved to Man United, 425k, started at Hamilton. So they've got some decent players in there, and arguably a better team than Wales. Moving on to Ireland, who are 33rd in the world. Remy Card's in charge, that is random. They've also got a couple good players in there. 22-year-old, 164 current ability, 182 potential, looks really good, plays for Liverpool. You can see here, they've got good players. They really do. We haven't seen a standout player yet though. Brendan Rodgers in charge of Northern Ireland, 34th in the world rankings. They, once again, have some decent players, some weaker players in this squad compared to the other teams. But this guy, James McNally, Ginger, Maestro, plays for Liverpool, 30 caps for Northern Ireland already at the age of 22. Looks pretty good, has the potential to be a very good player if he can push on. And lastly, we'll just have a quick look at England, who were dominant for years. First in the world rankings, you know, in the top 10 easily, but they have dropped down to 18th recently after not qualifying for the World Cup. Ronald Koeman's in charge. I've seen him in charge of England before on previous games that have holidayed into the future. And as you would expect, they do have better quality players in the 170s current ability, mainly real life players, Sterling and John Stones, but also this region. Jonah Hodgkinson, what a name. Defensive midfielder who plays for Man City. I said they would produce amazing players, even though I haven't boosted them because they are just really, really good on the game. Most capped players actually Jordan Henderson, 102 caps at the age of 33, but Raheem Sterling's not far behind and he's only 28. Top scorer is actually Harry Kane, 67 goals in 80 games for England, so he's must have broken Rooney's record, unless Rooney scored quite a few more goals before he retired. There he is, he's a manager, 49 goals, he didn't even reach 50. Like in real life, obviously, he's broken 50 goals. He's actually the joint top scorer for England on that basis, although Kane is now the top scorer with 67 goals. This is unbelievable. Belgium have also won the 2024 Euros. They didn't win the last World Cup, but they've won 3 Euros in a row and they beat Germany in the final. Just crazy. Just have a look at the group stages to see how the home nations did. Northern Ireland qualified, that's fantastic, but 0 points unfortunately. England and Wales both qualified from Group E, you can see there. And Scotland finished bottom of their group, unfortunately. So, oh, and Ireland. I keep forgetting Ireland. Sorry, Irish people out there. Ireland topped their group. They've been doing really well, actually. Probably the best team so far. Maybe England have done slightly better. Wales beat Ireland, though, in the second round on penalties. England beat Spain. So we saw Wales and England march on, where England beat Wales 3... No, what I'm talking about. Belgium beat Wales 3-1. England beat Croatia on penalties. So in the semi-final, England lost against Belgium again. They've become rivals, haven't they? I do love Belgium. I love the Belgian players. They must have a remarkable team. Second in the world. They've just been so good on this. Courtois has 160 caps for Belgium. He's their best player as well, current ability-wise. They've got some good players in there. Anyway, that's irrelevant, but they've been really good. Some of our nations are going to have to topple them at some point if they want to win competitions. So still no home nation has managed to win the World Cup. The closest we've had is England being runners-up. Argentina beat France in the 2026 World Cup final. Looking at the group stages again, England didn't even qualify from their group in Group G. But once again, I think they are the only home nation to qualify if I go up. The problem is there's so many European nations trying to qualify. There's lots of strong European nations. And we've boosted 4, plus we've got England. So there's 5 nations trying to qualify for the World Cup. But for all 5 to qualify, it would be an incredible story. I think we did see it with the Nordic experiment in the end, didn't we? I think we saw all 6, or maybe 5 at one time qualify. It is possible. 2028 Euros, it actually was hosted by Scotland and Wales, but France beat Italy in the final. Are we going to see any of these home nations win anything? It's turning out to be pretty realistic in regards to England not winning anything, which is pleasing in a way, that they're not being overpowered and beating the likes of Wales, Scotland and Ireland, Northern Ireland easily. Wales qualified from Group E, top of their group. England also top of their group. Ireland also top of their group. Northern Ireland unfortunately didn't qualify as one of the best third place teams. Where are Wales? Have I missed them? Well, I don't think they qualified. In the second round, Wales are there. What am I talking about? Wales lost against Croatia. Ireland beat Turkey. England beat Sweden. And that's it. Of course Wales are there. They hosted the thing. What am I talking about? Quarter final. Ireland lost against Spain and England beat Germany. So England have got to another semi-final where they actually lost against Italy on penalties. So they've been a bit unfortunate. I guess that's realistic. Losing on penalties, losing in quarterfinals and semi-finals. At least they're not winning things. I think we probably will see them win something at some point, because the game always makes England win something at some point. So the reason I'm just whizzing through these early competitions is because it usually takes a bit of time for the nations to establish themselves, produce amazing players, and then they eventually start to win things like we saw in the Nordic experiment. So I'm going to holiday through to the end of the 2032 Euros. This is the last World Cup of this part. We saw Brazil beat Portugal in the final. That's a clash and a half. 2 Portuguese-speaking nations taking on each other. And let's just have a look to see... Oh, Wales won their group. Won Group A with 5 points. So it's good they qualified. England also won their group. Oh, Belgium. They got one up on Belgium there. I bet they still lost against Belgium. No, wow, England won 4-0 against Belgium. Well, they've got revenge there. Northern Ireland also qualified. That's fantastic. And no Ireland. There's Ivory Coast, but no Ireland, unless I missed them out. And no Scotland either, I don't think. England won their group, second round, sorry. Wales unfortunately lost against Holland, and Northern Ireland lost against Germany. So once again, only England marching on to the quarter-final, where they lost against Holland 2-1. Finally, absolutely brilliant stuff from Scotland. They've come from nowhere to win the Euros in 2032. They've probably been the team that have been most disappointing so far, and they've come from nowhere, beaten Holland in the final, in England as well, and won the 2032 European Championship. So they're the first nation to win something. So once I've created this Excel spreadsheet, they will get a few points for winning the Euros. I'll have to decide how many points they get for that sort of thing. I'll work everything out for the next part. But brilliant stuff from Scotland. Ireland also qualifying from Group A, having a good tournament. England qualifying in third place in their own country. Northern Ireland qualifying. Scotland winning every single group game. Where's Wales? Where's Wales? Have I missed them out again? They're not here? I don't think Wales qualified. That's a shame. Second round though, England won on penalties against Belgium. They've started to beat Belgium. The tide has turned. Northern Ireland beat Romania 2-1. Scotland beat Germany 2-1. What a win. Ireland unfortunately crashed out on penalties against Italy. In the quarter-final, Scotland beat Northern Ireland 4-3. What a game that is. We'll have a look at all the nations before I end this part, by the way, in a bit more detail to see some of the players coming through. England beat Spain 1-0. And then in the semi-final, Scotland beat England 6-2. Bloody hell. Wow. What a win. This guy, Declan McCluskey, scored 4 goals. He's got 32 goals in 34 games for Scotland. He plays for Arsenal, started at Hearts, and moved to Arsenal for 13.5 million recently. Let's just have a look at him. It's 162 current ability, 178 potential. Very good player. Wow, what a win for Scotland there. And then in the final, they beat Holland 3-1. Really good solid win. Another couple goals from McCluskey. Graham Ritchie with the other goal. He's 29. 28 goals in 60 games for Scotland. Let's start off by looking at the European Championship winning Scottish team then, with Craig McCall-Smith in charge at the age of 49. They're second in the world rankings, just behind Brazil, who I think are the world champions. If we just go down, let's have a look out for our other home nations. Wales 17th, Northern Ireland 18th, England 19th, and the Republic, where are you? Down in 41st, not having a good time at the moment after a good start to this experiment for them. This is the Scottish team. Their best player is George Love at the age of 32. He's a left winger and he's good, very good. Plays for Everton, 20 goals in 134 caps for Scotland. Don't know if he ever reached that potential. He may be on the way down. He may have been a bit higher current ability wise at some point. He's also the most capped Scottish player. Graham Turner is second. I used to know someone called Graham Turner. Goals wise, there's not really a massive top goal scorer in this team. It is actually McCluskey with 32 goals after an incredible European Championship for him. But we'll have a quick look to see the under 21, see if there's any good players coming through. 179 current ability, Jamie Campbell. Looks good. 180 in the under 20s for this goalkeeper, Steve McGowan. And then in the under 19s, 186, Eddie McBain, striker. Can he go on to fire Scotland to more glory? Move on to Wales then. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in charge of Wales. They're 17th in the world rankings, as you can see there. Top player is actually Simon Harris, who has a decent potential. Well, he's 29. He's obviously reached his peak. Plays for Man United. Do actually have someone who had 199 potential ability. Oh, it's Alex Hall. It's this guy. So he's now 34. Plays for Derby. So he never managed to reach that full potential, did he? We saw previously. 140 caps for Wales, though. He's a stalwart of this Welsh team. Most capped player is actually Craig Potts, though, an attacking midfielder. Just look at the youth teams as well. Look at the potential ability. 183, Elliot Billington. So he might become a star in the next couple of episodes. So watch out for him. And there's no one in the under 20 team, but in the under 19 team, someone with 175 potential. Moving on to Northern Ireland, who are 18th in the world rankings. They've got Gary Hamilton in charge of them. And their best player is, good player, James McNally. 182 current ability. 32 years old, 121 caps for Northern Ireland. Looks like a really, really good player, actually. Plays for Liverpool. And the most capped player is actually Richard Downey, a 34-year-old now. And goals-wise, 81 goals in 93 games for Ali Horgy, something like that. And plays for West Ham, played for Spurs and Man United in the past as well. Started at Man United, in fact. A lot of Northern Irish players start at Man United, don't they? Looking at the under-21s, there's You know, Gary Waddle has decent potential, 160. Doesn't look very good at the moment because he's only got 75 current ability. Under 20s, not really anyone that's 166. This guy could stand out. Glenn Green, good name. And under 19s, his best player is actually Reece Campbell. So we'll see how Northern Ireland do in the next few years. Republic of Ireland, they've dropped down to 41st in the world. They've got Paco Yemez in charge. Best player in the team is actually 176 current ability, Kieran Gilroy, 32-year-old. Looks pretty good. They've actually got a guy with 194 potential, but he's 25, so unlikely to reach that. Most caps is Ian Neary, centre-back, 33 years old now, pretty solid, plays for Liverpool. Lots of players playing for Liverpool, actually. Dave O'Driscoll is the top scorer, though, 45 goals in 78 games. That is a cracking Irish name, Dave O'Driscoll. 18 finishing, 17 composure, 17 off the ball, good acceleration as well. Also plays for Liverpool, as it happens. They're just nicking everyone, aren't they? Potential ability in the under 21s, there's a good guy in there, but he's 23 already. Under 20s, 188 potential, 18-year-old keeper, Paddy Caffrey, could go on to be a star. Plays for Man City, so that's always a good sign that he can go on to be a star. The under 19s, wow! Another amazing keeper. Ireland are going to have two cracking keepers in the not too distant future. Kieran Whelan has 197. He's actually still playing in Ireland, though. You can see he moved to Scotland. He's gone back on loan to an Irish team, Dundalk. That's really interesting. Who's going to be the star man? Is it going to be Kieran Whelan or Paddy Caffrey? Paddy Caffrey is actually in the team above, but he's got worse current ability and worse potential. So surely Kieran Whelan's going to be the star at some point. And lastly, moving on to England, who are 19th in the world rankings. Remember, we haven't done anything to them. They're still being pretty solid. They've got very good players in there. Two exceptional world-class players in Gary Field and Mansour Abbott as well, who looks really, really good. Plays for Chelsea. So they've got talent. Caps-wise, Jonah Hodgkinson, that guy that we saw previously, is the most capped player, plays for West Ham now. And goals-wise, top scorer is Mansour Abbott, who already had a look at. Under 21s, let's just have a look at the potential in there. 185, Grant Hampson. England's still producing incredible players. And under 20s and under 19s also have decent players coming through as well. I don't think I'll give points for nations that produce Champions League winning teams, because England have the advantage with this, don't they? Because of the Premier League. It's not down to the players they're producing. So it would seem unfair if I'm marking them for how many Champions League they win this time, because we've already seen Chelsea win it in 2019 and 21 and 22 and 24 and 26. Liverpool won it in 2027, Man City won it in 2028, and Southampton won it in 2031. Shouldn't sound so surprised, sorry. They beat Tottenham in the final, and Tottenham have actually got to another final previous to that. So it would be a bit unfair, because England will win the overall thing quite easily because of the Champions League wins. So I don't think I'll include that in the point system, but we'll have a look at these competitions anyway, just out of interest. Here's the Euro Cup as well. You can see Man City have won it, Stoke have won it, Everton, Spurs, Arsenal, Tottenham again. One thing we definitely will count, though, is the European International League, which I've left until this point before showing you. It starts in the 2018-19 season. We've actually seen England win it twice, Wales win it once, and Scotland win it once. So that is really good that the home nations are winning this competition. I'll give them points for these wins, not as many as winning the Euros or the World Cup, but they certainly will obtain points for winning this competition. Scotland most recently beat Italy 3-2 in the final. McCluskey with another goal. And we'll just have a quick look at the World Golden Ball and World Player of the Year awards. You can see Lionel Messi dominated until 2022. Then we saw a few different winners. And I don't think we've seen any English, Scottish, Welsh or Irish winners in there. And I doubt there's anyone in the World Player of the Year either. Nope. But still, it's something we possibly could see in the not too distant future. So these are the last few winners of the English Premier League. We've seen Tottenham win it and Everton win it, which is different and good. Southampton have been runners up numerous times as well. European competition reputation, it's also moved up to first. Scottish Premiership is in 7th. If we just go down the list, it's probably going to be a long way down before we see. There's Ireland. They've actually gone up to 34th, but Northern Ireland and Wales are going to be way down the list, unfortunately. But the Scottish Premiership is doing well to be in 7th, I think. It's above Holland and Ukraine and Russia and Belgium and Turkey, which probably were above Scotland at the start of this save. You can see the winners of... Wow, Celtic's dominance has ended recently. Did see Everton and Dundee win it early on, but since 2027 they haven't won it at all. We've seen Aberdeen, Hearts and Dundee win it. Rangers are back in the top division, but they're not winning it. This is the Welsh Premier Division. You can see the winners there and the teams currently in the competition. This is the Danks Bank Premiership in Northern Ireland, so these are the winners. Glentoran and Cliftonville doing particularly well. And lastly, the Irish Premier Division, which in recent years has been dominated by St Pat's Athletic. Shamrock have also won it, as have Galway United and Dundalk. So I'm going to be a bit of a bastard and end this episode on a cliffhanger, because I feel like it. Northern Ireland are against Poland and Scotland are against Costa Rica in the 2034 World Cup semi-finals. How random is that to see those 4 nations in there? That is bloody brilliant. I love it. And can Northern Ireland play Scotland in the final of the World Cup? That would be incredible. We'll find out in part 2. I will show you the result of that, and I'll probably show you the goals as well, depending if they win. They might not. Perhaps maybe it'd be a Poland versus Costa Rica final, who knows. But it'd be great to see a home nation finally winning the World Cup on this. We've seen Scotland win the Euros today, which is great. Great start to this part 1. We've already seen a home nation win a competition. We've also seen Scotland, Wales and England win the Euro Nations League as well, which is good. But thanks for watching this part 1. Please smash the like button if you've enjoyed it and you're looking forward to part 2 and part 3 and part 4 and however many I'm going to go. I'm going to do an Excel spreadsheet just to count up the points, see how all the nations are doing. If you've got any suggestions for that, leave it in the comment section below. But I hope you're looking forward to seeing if Northern Ireland or Scotland have managed to win the 2034 World Cup. And then we'll see how far they all go. I will see you in part 2, guys.